Welcome back to a day in the life of the Grimwards. So we're continuing on with the fleet discussion. Today we're going to talk about the Willys Jeep. I'm going to give you a little overview of the Jeep real quick, and then we'll go back and tell you the story. Sorry, it's going to be a little shaky since I'm walking. So we're back. So this is the 1966 Willys Jeep. I'll go ahead and talk a little bit about the Jeep, and then we'll talk about the backstory. It seems like all the vehicles I have some kind of backstory that not makes it sentimental, but the reasons I have the vehicles I have. So this Jeep is pretty much still stock. All the sheet metal, as much of it that I could save. Drivetrain, frame, that's all still stock original stuff. The engine, transmission, transfer case, drive shafts, that's all original equipment. I'll just go front to back and we'll talk about the things that I put on it and added and changed and why. But so first things first, I got a high lift jack on the front. That's kind of self-explanatory. Depending where you're at, what you're doing, you need one. I put a little receiver hitch on the front. This helps me move trailers around the yard real easy. This is a lot more nimble, easy to get in and out of places. Over the years, I did have to replace the blocks. So these blocks are dual purpose. I use them more for opening the hood and resting it on the windshield frame. But this was built, these were designed to lay the windshield frame down and strap it here in the front. I did replace these are teak, but I have the originals still. You noticed I have an aluminum radiator. I just had to replace that last year. I still have the original one, but it just started leaking so bad I couldn't do anything about that. The only other thing I did is disconnect the air bath system. I mean the oil bath, so it's got a regular air cleaner now. So the only other things I have replaced on this is the windshield frame, and I put a radio in it because I'll tell you in my story, my cousins had already cut a hole in the dash. And then we'll talk, they also put this roll cage in, which obviously isn't a factory item. And then I want to talk about the spare tire carrier. So that was designed on a napkin at the firehouse one day, and I have a friend of mine, Dennis King, who works for a company in town, Wilmington Sheet Metal, and he and I had drawn it up, and then they built it pretty much from a drawing on a napkin. It's really nice because you can pull either pin either side, or you can pull both pins on it and the whole thing comes off. Gas cans, spare tires, so you can still use the tailgate. But it does swing open and it swings either side. So that's pretty much the Jeep. Oh, so back to the obvious thing, wheels and tires. I do have the original 5 wheels, 5 tires. These had, I don't remember the brand of tire, but they're a snow tire tread is what was on it. So I did do wheels and tires all the way around. So I'll tell you a little bit of the backstory. So the backstory of this Jeep is my uncle, I was born in Rhode Island, so I grew up there. My uncle had a service station in downtown Westerly, Rhode Island. So he had a service station for years, and he also sold Toro power equipment, snow blowers, lawn mowers, all kinds of stuff. So he had used snow blowers to plow that gas station, service station for years. And then this Jeep at the time was part of the Westerly ambulance service. So if you're not familiar with Westerly, Rhode Island, it's a beach, more or less a beach town. Mesquamacut is the beach. And this is the Jeep they used to use to go out on the beach to get people off the beach and back to town, because back then a lot of the roads weren't even paved going out to the beach. So the story, as I've been told, so in the early 70s this Jeep went up for sale and my uncle bought it. And he had used it, he actually, if I remember right, he had a plow on the front and used to use it around the service station. And then years after that he took it off, and then he just had it as a Jeep. So I have two older cousin boys and his sons, so when they got old enough, they each took turns at having the Jeep and driving the Jeep around Westerly, which is a small town. So, and they also had other vehicles, so this thing didn't really get a lot of mileage put on it while it was running. So my uncle had this Jeep the whole time. You know, as a young kid, I used to go to my uncle's because he was working on cars, always working on cars. So I used to go hang out with him. But I have memories of this Jeep when I was probably 8 years old. You could drive on the beach in Mesquamacut in the winter with my cousins. I was sitting in the back seat. At that time it had a soft top. And I remember being in this around 8 or 9 years old. And it probably wasn't too many years after that, I told my uncle, I said, if you ever sell this Jeep, I want it. So I don't remember the timeline 100%, but in the mid-90s he called me. He had 4 flat tires, the paint was peeling off it, the soft top had caved in, it was a mess. So I drove up to Rhode Island and I got it and brought it home. And then I pretty much just sanded everything down, gave it a quick paint job, and you know, did all the mechanical stuff to get it running, which wasn't a whole lot. So then at that point I had, you know, I didn't have a lot of money in the Jeep, so I just used it to get around town. And then, you know, over the years for me, it's had issues here and there. It's had to been parked. I had it on jack stands for a bunch of years. But the cool thing is my kids have ridden in this Jeep. Both kids have actually driven this Jeep. So this is one of those things that will probably never leave my family as long as I'm alive. So eventually this will go to one of the kids and they can carry on the legacy of the Willys Jeep in our family. But that's it. Tell me what you guys are driving. Tell me what kind of family heirlooms you have. You know, leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about the Jeep. I don't plan on doing any modifications to it any more than you see here, because like I said, this is just for me to run around town and have fun in. But if you like it, comment, share the video. Like I said, post something in the comments. Let me know what you guys are doing. I know Josh at Stony Ridge Farmer he had a couple of these. This is, I didn't say it in the beginning, this is the CJ3B. It has the high hood, because this is when they went to overhead valves. They went from flat 4 cylinders to overhead valve 4 cylinders. But yeah, let me know what you guys are driving around, what your toys are. All right, thanks.